Hi, I'm Beth from Restyle Pieces Boutique. Welcome back. I'm glad you're here today, and I am going to be working on something a little different this time. I'm making over this little jewelry box. It's like a 13 by 6 or 7, and I'm going to make it over, glam it up, and change it from the ugly brown that it is into something beautiful. So if you want to watch this makeover, stay tuned. This jewelry box is actually in pretty good shape. The drawers slide nicely. It has a music box in it that works. It just needs a glam up. It needs sanded, cleaned, painted, and glammed up. So I'm going to start by taking off this hardware. So I just use my painter's tool and I get under there each side gently and I get that hardware off. Just as I do when I take drawers out of my furniture, I'm going to number these drawers. So I'm numbering them 1, 2, 3, so I'll know which places they go back in when I put them back together. So I got all the hardware off. I'm going to put those little tiny little bitty nails in a baggie because I will lose them. And of course I lost one on the floor, so I'm down on my hands and knees. Oh, there it is. Awesome. So I have all of the pieces I need all together. I'm just going to vacuum this out, clean it up, rinse it, and I'll be ready. The top felt has some issues. This middle divider unit's bent and it's got some little marks on it, so I'm probably going to replace it, but that'll be another video. I'm going to be painting this by hand, so I'm taping off some little areas so that I don't get my felt in my drawers messed up. I hadn't decided at this point that I was going to replace this or not because I didn't know how to do that. But as I said in another video, I've decided I'm going to replace it and it's so detailed, I'll show you in another video. But I've got it all taped up now. I'm using my Farmhouse Hybrid Beige Evolution Paint and my artist brush to give this piece, actually it took 3 coats. It was really cold out the last couple days, and so I figured this is the perfect time for this jewelry box makeover because I can sit in my house, at my bar in my kitchen, and just go to town. So I sped that up quite a bit because I don't want to bore you with, an hour or 2 of painting in between coats. Between coats, I like to put my paintbrush in a baggie or wrap it in plastic, and so it will be ready for the next coat and I won't have to wash it out. I'm going to cover up or take off these hinges, and so I'm using this Hobby Tools magnetic screwdriver tiny tools. I call it my tiny screwdriver set. So I'm going to have to find the right one. There's a lot of heads on it to be able to take off those hinges on the back and on the mirror. So I should have played the lottery because I picked the right screwdriver head the very first time. That'll never happen again. Again, learn from my mistakes. Put all your tiny, tiny screws in a little cup or a little baggie right when you're taking them off. It's so helpful. Next, I'm going to be covering up parts of the mirror so I can paint that frame. And I'm using this delicate Scotch tape. It doesn't stick as heavily, so I figured it would be easier to get off the mirror. Next, I'll be taping off a little bit of the inside of this bottom drawer because part of the bottom area here sticks out and needs to be painted, but I want a nice clean line. And I'm just using the back of my scissors to kind of press that down even tighter so that I don't have any bleed through under my tape. Here's the scary first coat. I could have used 1 coat of primer and 2 coats of paint. Looking back on it, that's probably what I should have done. That's what I do when I paint furniture. I'm using my rad pad to just scuff lightly in between coats so that I will have a nice smooth surface. It's amazing the coverage I got on the second coat, and then I did do a third, but I'm not going to really show that here. This paint has great coverage, especially with light colors. If you're going over something dark, like I said, it would have been better to use a primer. I did decide this is going, and like I said in the next video, I'll show you how I replaced that. Now I'm going to put a Kacha transfer from ReDesign with Prima. It is a gold foil transfer. I'm going to decide where I want it on the places on my jewelry box and cut it up, and then you just rub on the back with a wooden stick and you carefully pull it up, and then you'll have to seal it. So check it out. Putting transfers on your pieces, whether it's a big piece of furniture or a small piece like this is, it's a little difficult to do the drawers because they're not straight and flat. So I had to use an X-Acto knife to kind of cut in between those lines in the drawers to get it to lay on those drawers. I kind of got my arm in the way, but I slit that with an X-Acto knife, and then I pushed it down on the bottom corner of that drawer, and then I'm rubbing on the bottom corner of the drawer. After you complete a section and you pull the paper off, I just kind of very gently rub on it with my hands. Sometimes I'll use a microfiber cloth and rub on the transfer after it's adhered to the furniture or the piece to make sure every piece is sticking. Next, I'm going to add the transfer to the lid of the piece, and I'm a big nerd, so I have to measure. I want to make sure I get it right in the middle. And also, when you put that down on the piece, it's going to stick wherever you put it down. So you want to make sure that you're exactly centered, or you've got that transfer exactly where you want it before you place it on your piece. I cut up and added a lot more pieces to the top and the sides, but I'm not going to show you all of that because I want to save that for a surprise. So here I'm using Rust-Oleum Bright Coat Gold, and I'm just spraying some into a little box, this cracker box in the bottom. Shake it up well, spray it into the bottom, and I'm using an artist brush, a cheap one, because I have to clean it out with mineral spirits and I don't want to mess up my nice artist brushes. And I'm just going along and carefully painting the sides of each of these details. Does this make you nervous to watch? It's a little nerve-wracking, but you just see how I'm putting my pinky finger to give me some stability on the edge of the piece, and then I'm just going slowly and carefully. Again, using your pinky finger to give some stability so that you can go slow and move down the edge of your painted piece. And now I'm using Amazing Casting Resin. It's a 2-part liquid material that you put equal parts together, mix them together, and then pour them in your mold. I'm going to do a little detail around the mirror because it's just kind of plain around the mirror. So I'm going to do some little details around the mirror. So I want to cast those, make them into a hard decorative piece that I can paint. You'll see. I've linked my Amazon shop down below, which has all of the pieces or all of the materials that I used for this project. And you'll find them in my Amazon shop. I will put a picture of this jewelry box, and then you can click on that jewelry box and it will tell you all the materials that I use. If you want to order any of those, I do enter a small commission. It's not much. I just like to have everything in one place, so if you need those materials, you'll have them. Again, using that same spray paint, Bright Coat Gold, and I'm spraying these resin molds. They're hard. It didn't take them any time at all to get hard, and I could pop them out of the mold, and now they're ready. I will place these around my mirror, glue them on, and then you'll see the end result. So now my piece is all dry and all ready, and I need to protect these transfers. I do not need a top coat for this paint. It's very durable, but I do need a top coat for the transfer. So I'm using Farmhouse Paint, clear coat and satin, and I'm using a foam brush, misting that brush with my water, and then I'm just doing strokes all over the whole piece. So I let this top coat dry, put my hinges back on, and we're ready for the big reveal. Here's how it looked before. Brown, old, dingy liner in there, the boring mirror that just kind of sits there. But now look what we have here. Beautiful, elegant, classic, new felt in that top area, and that beautiful detail around the mirror. I just love it. What do you think? That makeover is gorgeous, but I think it took me longer than a dresser would. It's so worth it, and I'm so excited to see the new home it goes to. So I'm glad you're here, glad you joined me. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. Just hit that subscribe button down below and the bell button so you get notified when new videos come out. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.